Morning guys, how are we doing? Welcome to the show, hope you're good. So, let's get it started. The JB Morning Show. If you are coming in, please make sure you like. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you comment. Let me know that you're here. Interact. And if you're on a podcast, please do leave a review at the very end for me, okay? So I hope you had a good weekend. My weekend was mental. Good 550-mile round trip up to Stoke to see an old Marine buddy for his 40th and surprise him. And then driving all the way back down to Chichester to go and do a seminar, which was brilliant with Jimmy Alderton, and that was fantastic. Met lots of motivated business owners who are looking to develop and understand social media a bit more, so it was really, really good. And then back home, shattered last night, and planned the week, and then early into bed, ready to go for this week. So what I thought I'd do today was something a little bit different. And I'll just talk about three things that maybe I'm pretty sure you wouldn't know about me. And the reason I wanted to do this was just because I want to encourage not only yourselves to be a little bit more open with yourself, but also just for me to maybe open up from what you just generally see on the camera and give you a little bit of indication about some other things that you probably didn't know about me. One of them's a bit my most embarrassing moment ever in life. And then the other two things are probably things, you probably wouldn't have known about me. So the first thing, and it's quite a peculiar one because every single weekend I would do a 600, sometimes 700-mile round trip home and back to work when I used to work in the Royal Marines. When I worked in South Wales or when I worked in North Wales, those were, or even Plymouth, those points were like literally miles away, and we'd have to do like a lot of motorway time to come home and a lot of motorway time to go to work. Now, since leaving and coming home, over time, I've built up a massive anxiety about leaving my hometown, about not leaving the house, but leaving the vicinity of my area, if you like. So, for example, going away on Saturday was kind of a big deal. Leaving the house, going out away, driving away so far away from home, even though like my partner and all the kids are away somewhere else, they're not necessarily here, I still find it super hard to leave home, and I build up this massive anxiety, huge anxiety about going. And what it does, it tends to make me feel super vulnerable. Now, I think we're all vulnerable in life, right? And I think we feel vulnerable about different things, but as soon as I'm away from home, that's when I feel most vulnerable. And I think that's when it's the hardest for me to function, because I'm all over the place. Like a bag of shit, to be honest. And it's something I definitely need to work on, because as soon as we get on the road and we take the dad's coach on the road and we do some tours and seminars and workshops and stuff, I'm going to be on the road quite a bit. And I think subconsciously, in my unconscious mind, one of the reasons maybe I've delayed that is because I do worry about leaving home, and it's mental, and it's just one of those things, and the only person who really knows about it is my partner, but I thought I would share it because it's something I need to get better at, and I thought if I opened up and shared that would be something maybe you can relate to, or maybe it's not that, maybe it's something else that you feel anxious about. So I do understand that feeling of anxiety, that feeling of vulnerability, as soon as I leave my hometown for a long period of time. Okay, so as soon as I get onto the motorways and out the door, it's like the Truman Show. You never leave. So that's like maybe an interesting fact you wouldn't have known about me. And just, I thought it might be quite good to open up for me to really deal with, and as well as you guys learning a little something, because I think some of you guys think I'm like got everything squared away, but I really don't. Number two is probably my most embarrassing moment ever in life, okay? And I was only 12 years old, and I was walking to school. My walk to school was about a mile, and I got probably about halfway through, and my stomach dropped. completely dropped, okay? And all of a sudden I need to go to the toilet. So I started running to school. I started running as quickly as I could. But about 300 metres away from the school, I literally pretty much shit myself. And as I did that, there are like tons of school kids all around me walking into school. And I had to play the cool game and smart game and act like nothing was happening as I was walking into school. So obviously I was trying not to make it obvious about what I'd just done. And then as I got into school, one of my teachers stopped me to talk to me for about 5 minutes because they wanted to talk to me about my English homework. And I had to try and make my excuses and get away and get into the toilet there. But I think back to that moment there, and I genuinely don't think there was a more embarrassing moment ever in my life than walking down towards school with all of the school kids everywhere, including the girl that who was my girlfriend back then. You know, I was 12, 13. And I look back at my kids now and think, God, that would have been horrendous if anybody had found that out. But I had to go to the toilets and square myself away and spend the rest of the day without any boxer shorts on, which was a nightmare in itself because as soon as we get ready for PE, obviously I've got no boxes and I'm doing PE with like no boxes on at all. But it's just the most embarrassing moment ever. And I just think that like whenever anything happens now, I always compare it to that moment and think, is it as worse than that? And 9 times out of 10 it isn't. And the last thing that probably people don't know about me is that between sort of 15 and 19, I used to have a picture up here. I used to be one of the best known inline skaters in the UK. And what we used to do, we used to travel around the UK. And we used to go to different cities and we used to skate and we used to go down handrails. We used to do big jumps. It was part of my magazine. So my profile was in magazines. We had profiles on videos. We tried to be sponsored by K2. We used to skate these K2 skates. And we used to go around the country doing different competitions, filming different videos. And it was like a massive part of my life, and I was always trying to become a pro. I always wanted to go to the X Games. I competed actually in an X Games in 1998 on Santa Monica Beach. However, the nerves got the better of me and I crashed and hurt myself. But it was always something we was going to do, and back then, if I understood business like I do now, we could have really jumped on that, basically. We built up a brand of clothing, we built up a brand of a team, we built up a specific team for so many people to listen to follow us, basically. And we had loads of followers, but Instagram and Facebook and all that wasn't around at the time. And if it was, fucking hell, it would have been huge. Every time we would go to a different skate park, everybody would know who we were. They would want us to sign their t-shirts and stuff, and it was just one of those teen fame things that I wish right now that I jumped on, but I decided to put away because I fucking was so worried about my injuries. I'd split my shin a number of times, I'd dislocated my knees a number of times, I cracked my head a number of times, and I was only 19 and I was very worried about what my body would be like when I was older. So I made the decision to quit, and I still got them in the attic. I still think about going up on the ramp sometimes, the local ramp where I used to skate all of the time. But it's just something that was a real passion for me when I was that age, between 15 and 19, It was an opportunity missed to really develop into something. However, it was a massive part of my life. So the reason I shared those 3 things are just because I think it's good for you guys who do follow me just to know a little bit more about me, know that I do have vulnerabilities, know that I do shit myself, and know that I did used to do something that was completely different. I think a lot of the time, sometimes you can sit there and you just think, oh, yeah, this guy has got his life squared away or whatever, when I really don't, okay? And everything that sort of happened to me between being born and the present day right now has all led me to the person I am today. You know, I'm a lot more controlled and I'm a lot more in charge of my own actions in my life than I was, you know, back in the day. But a lot of things have happened to me. There's about 100 things that you probably don't know about me that would surprise you. But I just thought that would be fun today to do something a little bit different. And what I would urge you to do is comment down below and say to me, okay, this is one thing that you probably wouldn't know about that would make everybody laugh, because it's Monday. And we just sometimes need a boost on Monday, don't we? Something to make us chuckle, something to make us laugh. So I would urge you to, down below, do that. Or if you are listening on a podcast, put the link to our free group on, and you can go into our free Facebook group. You'll find the post on there. And what I want you to do is just write down your comment on the post there, all right? And get involved, engage, okay? Please do share this, like it, and please do make sure that you leave a review on the podcast. Just as something a little bit different on a Monday, just cheer you up, get you out of the blue state, and get you focused on your day, all right? You're not the only person that shits himself. See you later.